35 years ago, Wallace and Gromit made their debut in the stop-motion short, A Grand Day Out. Created by Nick Park and brought to life by Aardman Animations, the short follows the titular duo as they build a rocket and travel to the moon, believing it's made out of cheese, to enjoy a quintessentially British tea and crackers picnic. A simple yet unique claymation short about a bald inventor and his intelligent dog assistant, created as a graduation project by Nick Park during his time at the National Film and Television School in Buckinghamshire. Short that took over 6 years to create using traditional stop motion techniques to bring the characters to life, with almost all of the work being done single-handedly by Nick Park himself. A short transmitted on Channel 4 on Christmas Eve 1999 that would eventually go on to be nominated for Academy Awards. Following its release, Wallace and Gromit immediately became beloved characters, starring in several future shorts and films, all directed by Nick Park, with Peter Sallis providing the voice for Wallace. Bringing us to present day, where now it's been over 20 years since the last Wallace and Gromit movie, and 17 years since their last short. Until this year, when the iconic characters return in a new film titled Vengeance Most Foul. And personally, I was thrilled while watching this movie that I just had to make a video. All of these films are highly enjoyable, featuring amazing animation and great humor, with minimal dialogue, which means Nick has to heavily rely on expressive emotions and physical comedy to tell these stories. And to me, that's the most enjoyable thing about watching these films and seeing Wallace and Gromit go on their adventures. Every time I'm watching, I'm either in awe, wondering how they managed to do that, or smiling and laughing at each joke. Since these movies are always a fun time and telling their own unique, crazy adventure with no strict continuity, you can just pull up any movie and have a great time. I first heard about Wallace and Gromit when I watched Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and immediately fell in love with it. By the way, here's a quick summary. After starting a pest control business, the duo lands a job from the alluring Lady Tottington to stop a giant rabbit from destroying the town's scraps. Both Wallace and the stuffy Victor vie for the lady's affection. If Wallace wants to please his pretty client and best Victor, he needs to capture the pesky bunny. And that's all I can really say. If you want to know more, please go watch the movie on your own. I promise you won't be disappointed. Anyways, the film takes the tropes of the werewolf legend with great humor and wacky characters, along with fantastic animation that still holds up to this day. The strong bond between Wallace and Gromit is a standout. It is the film that introduced me to stop motion and the great animation form that it is, that while tedious, completely rewarding in the end. Like I said, I love these movies just as much as Wallace loves cheese, and take this as my recommendation to go check them out before watching the rest of this video. Now, with that out of the way, as I said, the two ghosts of Claymation have finally made their return in the movie that premiered January 3rd on Netflix called. In comparison to the other movies, this one's a little different, directly building off one of their most iconic adventures, 1993 short The Wrong Trousers, a short featuring the greatest villain to ever exist, Feathers McGraw, a thieving penguin who likes to dress as a chicken to lay low and hide his identity. In this short, to help pay the bills, Wallace rents out a room in his house to a tenant named Feathers McGraw. Gromit immediately senses something is off and starts investigating. He eventually finds a wanted sign and uncovers Feather's plan to steal a precious diamond from a museum using an invention by Wallace called the Techno Trousers. The duo eventually stops Feathers in a thrilling chasing and sends him to prison, which happens to be behind the zoo. Now back to Vengeance Most Foul. The movie picks up from when Feathers is being sent to prison, in the background planning his revenge. We then return to Wallace and Gromit, waking up as always at the start of the movie. And to this point, we can see the amount of inventions Wallace has created, relying on each one of them to just get out of bed and pet my goat Gromit. To escape all these machines, Gromit goes to his garden to relax, only to be interrupted by Wallace with his latest machine, a gardening and home improvement gnome called Norbot. And immediately, Norbot gets to work tidying up the garden, impressing all the neighbors and bystanders. Wallace, obviously having to pay bills, gets the idea to make a home improvement business with Norbot, disregarding Gromit. That's when we go to our secondary characters, Chief Inspector Albert McIntosh, who was in the previous film, and his latest recruit, PC Mukherjee, an officer really passionate about her job. Curious about Fez McGraw, Mukherjee questions McIntosh about the night he was caught, which McIntosh reminisces about, explaining that he was there that night to answer the call and seal away the diamond in a vault. As Wallace comes up with a new name for his business, his invention starts gaining popularity as an interviewer pulls up on his doorstep to ask some questions about what Norbot can do. Wallace, obviously delighted, reveals everything Norbot is capable of on TV, which is broadcasted on Feathers' TV, and that immediately sparks his revenge plan and escape. During the night, while Norbot is being charged and connected to the computer, Feathers, from his cell, manages to access the guard's computer and gain access to Norbot, and bypass Wallace's top line of defense, changing Norbot's prime directive and turning him evil using the very accessible evil switch that was for some reason programmed into him. The next day, Wallace and Gromit wake up to multiple Norbots having created by the original Norbot. Gromit is immediately suspicious, but Wallace doesn't mind it and actually views it as a good thing to be more efficient for the business. And to be even more lazy, Wallace creates a machine that tracks Norbots so he can just stay at home and relax. And Gromit, paranoid, rightfully so, because everything this dude creates is always a problem, decides to follow the Norbots, only to be trapped in the shed as the Norbots return home. Their plan being to send Wallace to sleep as soon as possible while they work on their machine using parts they stole from the houses they fixed, which obviously leads to the neighbors calling the police and reporting missing items, causing the police to view Wallace as a prime suspect and confiscate all his inventions. Except for the Norbots, those somehow went missing. Gromit, trying to tell everything he knows to Wallace, is immediately turned down, and now knowing something is up, goes by himself using Wallace's tracker to find the Norbots, seeing them travel through the sewers using a submarine they built, leading to a familiar zoo, the prison holding Feathers McGraw. The Norbots help Feathers escape, while one of them tries to get rid of Gromit, and eventually being switched back to good when landing in a lion exhibit. Afterwards, McIntosh, refusing to continue their investigation, prepares for a ceremony, which will honor the 4 years of his work and finally put the diamond back on display, only for it to be revealed that the diamond he put away in the vault turned out to be a turnip in a sack, giving us the incredible twist that before Feathers was imprisoned, he switched the sack containing the diamond with a turnip, and hiding the diamond away in a teapot Wallace and Gromit never bothered to use again. Gromit, realizing this, heads home to stop Feathers from getting the diamond, only to be tied up alongside Wallace, to which Wallace realizes his mistake and over-reliance on technology alongside his fault for not listening to Gromit. With this new realization, the duo decide to fix Wallace's mistake by chasing down Feathers, while McIntosh and Mukherjee chase them down, believing Wallace has double-crossed them. The chase happens on boats that are going at just the right speed, and sorry, but Gromit is just carrying really hard right now. All Wallace is doing is yelling out for Gromit. But Wallace finally decides to help by creating a machine that launches boots to change the setting of the Norbots, leading to a final fight between Gromit and Feathers as they throw the diamond back and forth. During this, Mukherjee ends up helping the duo, as throughout the whole movie, she had a gut feeling that they were innocent, calling backup to corner Feathers, with his only choice to escape being to threaten Gromit in exchange for the diamond. Gromit complies as Feathers Mary Poppins his way out of there, only for Gromit to still end up falling with the boat, but don't worry, the Norbots end up saving him. In the end, Feathers believed he has finalized his plan, only for the good old switcheroo to be revealed that Gromit actually gave him the wrong sack. A happy ending, with McIntosh realizing Wallace and Gromit are innocent, and expressing how proud he is of Mukherjee. The movie wraps up with McIntosh enjoying his time away as chief, Mukherjee being promoted, and Wallace using his inventions for more useful tasks, and Gromit finally getting that normal pet that he has wanted since the beginning. Overall, peak movie. Really enjoyed my time watching this. The animation is, of course, stellar as always, with some cool shots that had me wanting the behind the scenes. The central idea of having an over reliance on technology being bad and the return of Felix McGraw. Are you kidding me? How can this movie not be great? You can just feel the love Nick has for these characters in each frame. It's so fun to experience these movies as we see the progression of Nick as an animator and the look of Wallace and Gromit. The models becoming more refined and the world becoming bigger. It's just something fun to watch and examine each scene. And I forgot to mention Peter Sallis, who voiced Wallace, unfortunately did pass away in 2017, RIP. But he was succeeded by a new voice actor, Ben Whitehead, who I think does a fantastic job bringing the same essence to Wallace that Peter did. Anyways, that's all I can really say about this movie. I recommend you to watch it on your own since I did leave out some parts and jokes that I could just not do any justice. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Oh wait, I also forgot to mention. Thank you guys. We somehow made 1K subscribers. That's crazy. All from the Max Steel video. Don't worry, y'all. I'm working on a Slug Terra video. That should be out soon, probably next month. But yeah, that's all for me. See you guys next time. Adios.